Hello, and oh yeah, we're all live. Good morning, welcome to Friday. You right? You happy about it being Friday? Yeah. As usual, if you are here, please do pop a comment and say hello so that I know you're there and I know that I'm not talking to myself. First sign of madness, I think, talking to yourself. Pretty sure I've got lots of other signs of madness too, but there you go. Hello, welcome to Friday. My husband's just typed hello. Seen you already. Good morning, Karen. And good morning, Maria. Yeah, Pete and Eric are here too. Eric's had a very exhausting morning so far, barking at things. So he's having a little snooze now, thankfully. Hello and welcome. As always, if you have any comments or questions throughout the chat, please pop it in the comments. Good morning, Jess, and good morning, Sue, the dedicated druid. I always feel like I want to salute you, and I don't know why. It's just one of those strange things. Yeah, as usual, pop the comments or questions in. Good morning, Jay. Oh, Jay says good morning to you too. But actually, everyone's saying good morning to you, Eric. He's sleepy. He's curled up sleeping now. He's obviously totally bored with the entire world, but there you go. See, lost it already. Only, 2 minutes in and I've lost the train of thought completely. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning, Leslie. Yes, any comments, any questions about what I'm going to talk about witchcraft in general, about me, about anything? Helen, well, yes, welcome back. School holidays, hurrah. Helen, your hair is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Brightest pink I've ever seen in hair. It's absolutely stunning. Big virtual hugs all around, Sue. Big virtual hugs all around to everyone. So, hello, Debbie. Welcome to the live. So I pondered about what to talk about this week. Normally I have it all planned by the weekend before and I have everything organized. This week nothing came to me. Good morning, Kerry. Nothing came to me. And then I thought, do you know what? Witchcraft into the wilds. Every week so far, and I've been doing this now since March, so quite a few, has involved candles or crystals or products that you have to source or buy. So today I've gone wild. Good morning, Rachel. Helen, yes, your hair's so bright it hurts your eyes. Love it. That's how hair should be. So yes, I'm going witchcraft into the wilds. So today, everything I've got, I found in the garden. Some things I found previously in the garden or on walks, and that's my phone turned to silent and now it's buzzing at me. Other things have been gifted to me, but they're all from nature. They're all items that you can find for free. They're all items that you can find when you're out walking. Good morning, Sheila. So that's what I'm going to work with today. I'll start a little bit about energy. Energy is in everything. It doesn't matter whether it is a plant, a tree, a leaf, a piece of fruit, a twig, the ground that you walk on. Everything has energy that we can connect to. I also advise, that sounds quite bossy, doesn't it? I also recommend connecting with the energy of the land where you are. So the land that your house is on, the land that you walk on when you go out. Connecting with the energy of the area around you really helps you to feel connected to Mother Earth, but also to make you feel at home. So if you get to know the energy of your area, it really does help you feel connected. And every piece of land has a story. Whilst the house we're in now was built in 1920, but there were houses here before that, going way back to Neolithic man. To get that right. I'm sorry, my phone is buzzing. I'm just going to turn it off completely. There we go. Yes, Neolithic man lived here because I live by the sea, so it was where people would have found food, and dwellings were here for hundreds of thousands of years, basically, or tens of thousands of years, tens of thousands. That's right, get it right. My son will tell me off if I get it wrong. So all those layers of energy are in the earth that my house is sitting on. So it goes way back, and it's such a mixture of energy, but connecting with it can be absolutely fascinating. So I do recommend you do that in your local area and in your house. And then, good morning, Vicky. Sue's just making the bed. That's very commendable. You get pocket money for that. So energy's in everything, and it helps to be connected. I think it also helps to be connected with the Sabbats, if you work with the Sabbats. If you work with the seasons, you can connect to the seasons, but even narrowing it down to connect to the week, to the day, even to the hour around you. Connecting with that energy really helps you be in the moment, basically. I quite often, well, every morning I go outside to the garden, mainly because I go out with Eric first thing in the morning. But you can feel the energy in the air. You can connect and feel the energy of the day and what it's got to offer you. And quite often it will comment to you or give you a feeling of what magic you could work that day or what there is to come for that day as well. And it also helps you recognize the changing weather patterns and also the seasons, because although the seasons are marked on a calendar, dates are marked on the calendar, Sabbats are marked on a calendar, they don't always fall in line with what Mother Nature's actually doing. So I think connecting with the energy around you at any given time is really, really useful. Good morning, Sarah. So that's about energy, and it helps to get connected. And of course, that works down to any of the plant matter, any herbs, any items that you use for magic. You can connect to their energy and find out what they can offer you. You can make offerings. Did you see the lead in there with the word offer? Were you impressed? Natural offerings, just a quick word. If you are out and about and you do wildcrafting, if you do collect plants or leaves or anything natural when you're out and about, particularly if you've taken it from a plant, first of all, ask permission. Please ask permission from the plant or the tree if you remove anything from it that's still living. Most of them will be willing to give it up, but it is polite to ask first. Never take too much. Always leave enough of the plant to continue growing and to feed the wildlife. You know all this, but disclaimers, got to put it in there. But if you want to leave an offering, if you've taken something from the wild, then make sure it is biodegradable. Just a little bit of water or some birdseed or some plant food, even something completely natural. Take a leaf and leave a leaf, Don't tie things to trees. Please don't tie things to trees. Even if it is biodegradable, it can damage the tree and cause infection or stunt any growth, damage them completely. So don't do it. And definitely don't leave tea lights or candles out there. Not good. Right, that's my bossy school teacher bit done. Let's get on to working with some of the plants. So I wandered around the garden and I found, now I know this is ornamental, but something that most of us have in their garden is grass. This is ornamental, so it's quite a long piece. But if you're in a field or if you're out in the woods or countryside, you can find fairly long pieces of grass if you're lucky, and they are absolutely brilliant for working magic with. Grass is full of magic, and I will look it up. I'm going to look it up in this one because I don't remember it, but grass is really good for knot magic, because if you can get a long piece, you can work some knot magic with it. Here we go. So grass, good for protection, good for psychic powers, knot magic, and abundance. It's also connected very strongly with the element of earth. If you've got the patience, you can weave a ball of grass. Apparently, I've never tried it. Hang it up in your home to provide protection. I think the longer pieces as well, if you're very careful, you could make a witch's ladder out of grass as well. Add dried grass to your incense blends to increase your psychic powers and also to help bring abundance. It is very magical, but so common and easy to find. I mean, this piece is brilliant because you could work very easily, not magic with it. You basically, you say what you want to bring, your intent, and you tie the knot, and that seals it in. I'm not going to weave a ball with it because we would be here for a very long time and you would probably hear me say, you know, not rude words, because I don't do that particularly, but you'd hear me cuss slightly. Also the seed heads, they work really well as well. You can work them into your magic. They work very well in incense blends as well. So grass, so common, so easy to find, but absolutely brilliant for protection, particularly. That's the one I use it for, or abundance. And abundance as well, because most of them have all these seed heads that have got so many tiny little seeds in. So they work brilliant in abundance and prosperity spells. But also for not magic. You could make quite a fantastic witch's ladder out of that one. Maria, I collect leaves and twigs, acorns that have fallen, and place them on my kitchen altar, and then the next season I bring them back. Excellent. And Maria was chosen grass from your oracle cards this week. Sue, curious how you would make a ball of grass with, well, look it up, Sue, and see how you get on. If you manage to make one, we'd love to see photos of it. It is, I've seen it in quite a lot of places. How you would work it, I'm not sure. But I am intrigued now, Sue. So let us know how you get on with that. I would just weave it into a witch's ladder and hang it up for protection because I don't have any patience. But yes, that's your challenge, Sue, to weave a grass ball. So we'd like to know how you got on. So onwards. Excellent. Thank you, Sue. You're brilliant. The next one is quite a common one, is weeds. Well, particularly if, like me, you live on the edge of the city, you may only have access to city centre parks or not even that. But every time Mother Nature makes a breakthrough, she brings her weeds and plants through cracks in pavements, in what's challenge accepted. Excellent, Sue. So weeds are really good for magic as well. They are plants. Just termed weeds because they're plants that grow in the wrong place. Apparently, that's the meaning behind weed. But I've got some dandelion leaves that were growing out the front of the house. Don't judge, but the front of the house needs weeding. Dandelion leaves, which can be used in all sorts of things. But this looks a bit sad, I know, but it is the dandelion clock with all the. Now these are brilliant because you can save all the little seeds. And use them in wish magic. Absolutely brilliant for wish magic. And I'm going to look up dandelion as well, because again, I don't remember it. I'm using this book, you know that. So dandelion, wishes, divination, love, abundance, and psychic powers. It is an element of air, and it's a masculine one. But I use the seeds. I don't particularly use the leaves so much, but I use the seeds. I save them and use them in wish magic. You can use the flowers to make a dandelion oil, which is good for all sorts of things, muscle rub and everything. You can make dandelion wish tea, petals from a dandelion flower, add in some clove flowers, some sage and some cinnamon, and put in some honey, and you've got a wish tea. Pour on hot water, obviously, because otherwise you just got a pile of ingredients. The dry mixture without the honey can also be added to spell pouches for wishes. So dandelions are absolutely brilliant for particularly wish magic, but also abundance, and also to help with your psychic powers. And they're good in love magic as well. And I think it's down to do with the blowing the seeds for wishes for love. But absolutely brilliant. You can get dandelion coffee as well. It just sounds quite nasty to me, but you can get it apparently. So that's dandelions, but there's all sorts of weeds that can, I'm going to attempt to find it in here. Just talk amongst yourselves. I didn't mark it. Should have marked it, didn't I? In the city. There we go. Right, so let's have a look at weeds. So you've got chickweed. That's quite a common one. Very strong feminine energy for that one. Good morning, Sue. You've got clover. Obviously very good for luck. Daisies. Very good for strength and courage, spell work. Dandelion we've talked about. Dock. Really good one for if you've stung yourself on stinging nettles. My dad always used to pick a dock leaf for that. I like dock leaves actually for magic because they're quite big leaves and you can use them to wrap things. But I think because they're soothing to the nettle stings, they're really good to soothe and ease arguments and disagreements in any kind of magic. Just normal weeds that you find anywhere. Tap into the energy and see what they can do for you. Because as always, there are general meanings for them and general intents, but it might mean something different to you. And if it's growing locally to you as well, I think that has a huge impact on the magic that you work. Because if you've found it and it's growing near you, it's going to have your personal local energy in with it as well. That's my view anyway. On to something slightly more prickly. Not a hedgehog, don't have a hedgehog here. I don't get hedgehogs actually because my garden is walled. They'd need, ropes and tackle and all sorts of things to get into my garden, sadly. Hello, Chris. Up late enough to catch live. Chris, you're brilliant. So I have a piece of rose here that we took last night when we were sort of deadheading and tidying up the rose bush. But on it, of course, are thorns. And thorns are absolutely brilliant for magical workings. Lots of plants have them. This is a rose, obviously, but brambles and blackthorn are two that particularly spring to mind. Blackthorn thorns are particularly good because they're quite long, so they're easy to handle without stabbing yourself. But you have to think about what a thorn does. So it's protection for the plant. They guard it against predators, and they're sharp and they're defensive. They can pierce, they can cut, and on more than one occasion in my garden, while sorting the roses out, they can draw blood. So they are good for all of those kinds of magic. They're really good for protection. They're really good for defense. Folklore in particular likes to talk about blackthorn thorns as being used for cursing. Now, obviously, you could use thorns for cursing. They are very good for cursing and hexing. Rose thorns in particular work for affairs of the heart. Not that I advise, casting love spells at all, because, open can of worms, so much. Just don't, not advisable. Maria, and they hurt. Yes, they do hurt. Blackthorn, like I say, particularly good for cursing, but all thorns can be used for that, should you choose that pathway. Entirely up to you. Has to be your own choice. Don't judge, up to you. But thorns have a positive side. They can be used in spell work for protection and also to dispel negative energy. Brilliant for that. Long thorns, particularly again the blackthorn, they can be used to, instead of pins, when you stick into poppets, and also to carve symbols into candles. Rose thorns you can do, but it has to be the bigger ones. These are actually quite small. You'd have a job holding them to actually carve anything. Good morning, Christine. So they can be used for doing poppets as well. Bear in mind that poppets originally were used for healing. It's Hollywood that's kind of given them a bit of a bad rap, but they can be used for all sorts. Healing, love, friendship, protection, whatever you want to use them for. Originally the poppets, the pin was stuck into the poppet in the part of the body that needed healing, and that's where the energy was directed. So you could use thorns for that as well. If you've got a big enough thorn, you can dip it in ink to write your magical petitions. And thorns can be used to pierce negative bubbles and break bad cycles that we've gotten into. So particularly good for that. Maria, good morning, Irene. Maria, do you cut them off or just leave them on stalk? This is a fresh stalk, which has got tiny ones on. So I would use these if I would break them off the stalk and just pop them into incense blends or spell pouches because they're quite tiny. But I have, bear with me a second. I've got a much bigger piece here with bigger ones on that I have been drying. Does it worry you? My husband's quite worried that I've got this just stuck on the shelf. I've been drying this one, and the thorns are much, much bigger. So when it's completely dry, no, it's not ready yet. When it's completely dry, the thorns should quite easily snap off of the branch. No, not quite ready yet. So I do leave them to dry, and then the bigger ones I will snap them off of the branch to use. So yeah, the big ones, yes, I'd break them off. The littler ones, I'd leave them on the stalk. It depends what you use them for. If you want them for carving or if you want them for dipping in ink or anything like that, you need to hold them really. So you need the bigger ones and you need to take them off of the stalk. But absolutely brilliant for magic protection, breaking negative cycles, breaking bad habits. Christine, is it a cursing wand? You could absolutely use it for a cursing wand, without doubt. It would be fantastic for doing that. Mother Nature providing it ready-made. And from thorns onto leaves. Beck says you need to behave, otherwise I'm going to get my cursing wand out. Every home should have a cursing wand for their husbands. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. Moving swiftly onwards, very swiftly onwards, to leaves. Now, Mother Nature provides a huge array of leaves throughout the seasons in all different colours and different varieties. I don't tend to pick leaves directly from the plant unless it's herbs or something like that, and I'm harvesting them. Herbs actually benefit from being regularly picked. But if I want a leaf from a specific plant, I generally wait until the leaf has fallen, or if I'm pruning, and then I will save the leaves. If you need a leaf and it's still growing on the plant, as I say, do ask permission first. They'll be fine about giving it generally, but you know, manners. Probably use dried leaves and herbs in all of our cookings and magical workings anyway, but leaves from all sorts of plants are brilliant. So particularly something like a blackberry bush or a raspberry bush. Now they've both got brilliant magical powers, but I wouldn't use the fruit in a magical working because that would be incredibly squishy and make everything all yucky. But you can use the leaves from them in your magical workings, and it has exactly the same powers as the fruit does. So particularly good for that to use leaves from. If the leaf is big enough, and I've got one here, which is quite a nice one. This is from the geum in our garden, totally tangerine geum, but it's big. You can see how big it is. The leaves from sort of maple trees and things like that are really good because they're big. But this makes excellent for, actually, it's got a little insect on it. Oh, we'll take him out in a minute. more nature in here. You can use the big leaves for wrapping spells in. So you could use it like you would a spell pouch or even a petition, and you could add herbs, spices, other natural items if you want to create your spell, and then wrap it up very carefully so as not to squish that insect. You could wrap the leaf up, and then you've got a little spell pouch, a little natural spell pouch. If you want to as well, Chris, unless you're using the fruits in a pie with magical purpose. I like your thinking, Chris. Yes, obviously you can eat the fruits, and fruit in a pie is perfect, absolutely perfect. But if you are working with incense blends or spell pouches, you can use the leaves of fruit trees. Obviously, I always recommend eating the fruit, particularly in a crumble or a pie, because that's yummy. Leaves also you can write petitions on if the leaf is big enough. Bay leaves are particularly good for that. or sage leaves, you can write it only has to be one word, and then burn it or send it away to the wind. If you're out and about and you don't have a pen with you and you want to make a wish, you can take the leaf in your hand, hold it in both hands and whisper your wish into the leaf, fold it over and let the wind take it away. Brilliant natural way of working a spell. Bigger leaves, I say, are excellent for wrapping up charms or spells. They can also then be burned or buried. If you're burying, make sure it's all biodegradable stuff. But that's actually quite a nice way to work with a spell, because you're putting it back into the earth as well. And so when it decomposes, it's putting nutrients and energy back into the earth, as well as working your spell. Double win, really. Also, if you look at the leaf, it has veins. Actually, the back's probably better. It has veins, like we do as well. So it's a map. So each of those veins can take you on a journey. So you could meditate with a leaf and follow the veins on the map and let it take you on a journey, which is very interesting to do, particularly if you try it with all different types of leaves, because each one will take you on a different journey. And of course, each leaf carries the magic of the tree or the plant. So each leaf has the magical properties of that. Look up the correspondences or ask the leaf or the plant or the tree what magic it can help you with. And of course, in the autumn, brilliant, you get all the different colours and the leaves are provided for you because they just drop them on the ground. Kay, could you bind the leaf with grass? That would be absolutely perfect, Kay. I don't want to do it because there's a little insect on this one. But yes, if you fold up the leaf and fold it over, you could then bind it with the grass. Absolutely. And it would make a little parcel. Perfect idea. Let's just leave that there so that the insect doesn't. It's very tiny. I don't know what it is. Scrying. You could scry. It would mean scrying with the veins of the leaf. That would work brilliantly. That would be very, very interesting to work with. So leaves, absolutely brilliant for all kinds of magic. And on to something now, and I apologise to the vegetarians and the vegans. I am going to talk about bones, but with an ethical point of view. So I'm going to show you this, and it is a skull, bird skull, not a human skull. It is a bird skull. This is a magpie skull, and the magpie is one of my totem animals or spirit guide animals. I also have the wing of the magpie as well. I've got several magpie wings actually. I like working with them, but I know the source. I didn't buy them. I know where they came from. It was roadkill, basically, and a druid friend of mine collects roadkill, basically, and then dries everything out. It's all, for me, about honouring the spirit of the animal. So I wouldn't ever, ever advocate popping out and bopping a badger on the head just to work magic with the bones. But for me, it's about Mother Nature providing magical ingredients. And for me, it's about honouring the animal. So the wing and the skull, and I have the legs as well, they have the spirit of the magpie within them. And for me, it is a way to connect with the spirit of that animal and to honour it completely. And I think that also extends to eating as well. I am a meat eater, but I'm very conscious of where all my meat comes from and the story behind it. And I think if you are going to eat a roast chicken, for instance, chicken bones, save them. So roast your chicken, eat your meat, use the bones again to make stock. If that animal's given up its life for you, then the most you can do, or the least you could do really, is to make the most use of it. So the bones can be used for stock as well. And then chicken bones actually make brilliant divination tools. So don't waste it. If you are going to do it, don't waste it. And if your budget allows, because I am very conscious of that as well, do make sure you know where it's all come from. Kay, Maria loves magpies, and Kay has been drawn to magpie spirit recently and been collecting feathers while out walking with your boys. They are amazing, amazing spirit animals to work with. Mine's been with me for years. Usually comes around when there's a bit of mischief going on. Curious about magpie meanings. I can probably help you with that. I don't know if it's in this book, but I know it's in one of the books. Here we go. Right, let's have a look. Got blackbird. And of course, the seeing animals when you're out and about all gives you messages as well. Funny enough, I haven't got magpie in there. 2 seconds. The animals that you see while you're out and about will also have messages for you. So if you see a fox or a mouse or a squirrel, they've all got meanings for you. So take note of them. They might mean different things to different people, but make a note of them. And eventually I will find magpie. I know it's in here somewhere. Right, so I'm using animal magic. So magpie. So it is occult, magic, knowledge, dedication, spirit world, fairy world, past lives, consequences, communication, clarity, opportunistic, perception, illusion, and expression. So quite a mixed bag there. Obviously, they like shiny things as well. That's probably why it's one of my animals. But a fascinating animal to work with. If you are drawn to them, do some research and do a meditation to meet the spirit animal to see. If you picked up feathers, that would be really easy because you can connect with the spirit energy of the feathers. Fascinating creature. Chris has buffalo fossils. In my language, Blackfeet is. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Brilliant, and then that's local to you as well. So, so yes, Sarah. If you look on my blog as well, Sarah, there is a blog post about magpie and all the meanings. So go to rachelpatterson.co.uk and have a look on my blog and search for magpie. There's meanings on there. Karen loves magpies and crows, feeds them every day. The magpie lived in your garden for 8 years. Wow. Oh, she found baby magpies. She's found a mate and has baby magpies. Fantastic. Christine has an owl wing, which was roadkill, but using magical work. Amazing. They do have so much energy. They're good for connecting with things, but they're also good for smudging because you can waft your smoke and your incense with them as well. It is fascinating to work with. Sue has, yes, Helen magpie, your totem too, yeah. And Vicky always sees magpies. They come and go, I think. Sue has a deer skull with antlers attached. I have got a couple of antlers. Antlers are brilliant because they drop off. So the animal's not harmed at all. The antlers just naturally shed. Obviously not if the skull is attached to it. Good morning, Lani. Chris, animals all have an important role in Native American culture, so important to me because of my heritage. Animals have a role in all kinds of cultures. They share the planet with us, so they are incredibly important. Yes, Sarah, do meditate with them and have a look on the blog. Hopefully it will give you some information. Leslie was recently gifted a magpie feather. Fantastic. So yes, bones are a good way of connecting with the spirit animal and working with the energies. You can add them to spell bags. You can wear them in jewelry. You can use them also to help with shape shifting. So if you've got something from the animal, it can help you with shape shifting. Ritual tools can be made, particularly from antlers, if that's what you'd like to do. And don't forget insects too, because they have bones. They just wear them on the outside. So if you look very carefully, you might find some insect pieces as well. But do make sure they're passed away first. But yeah, bones are really, really useful. And that leads me to feathers. Obviously, with the feathers from the magpie, there's a little story about the feathers. Debbie has a starling's wing. Wow. I have to keep it in my drawers every time I put it on my altar. The cats run off with it. Yes. If you have pets, particularly cats, and you want to put natural items like feathers and bones on your altar, please make sure they are safe. Because, yes, cats would love to run off with it. Maria, exoskeleton. Yes, from the insect. The proper word for it. Feathers, that leads me on to, so when I thought about doing this, I thought, right, I've got a big box of feathers. I've got seagull feathers, I've got magpie feathers, I have crow feathers, I even have some pheasant feathers. Do you think I could find the box of feathers? It is a shoebox size of feathers, and I couldn't find them anywhere. I turned the house upside down.
Oh no.
That my husband knows, because he had to help me look. Couldn't find them anywhere. I knew I had a pot with some seagull feathers in. Couldn't find those either. A couple of days ago, out on the dog walk, on the way back, we found a feather. I think it's a crow feather. Couldn't find that either. So whatever was going on in the house obviously didn't want me to deal with feathers. However, this morning, my husband found the crow feather. So we have, of all the feathers that I've got, the huge collection I've got, the only one I've got at the moment is a crow feather. And that's it. It's quite sad, really. They will turn up. I'm sure they will turn up. Oh, actually, I found a tiny little pigeon feather this morning as well in the garden. So yes, out of my entire collection, that's what I've got. However, they've all flown away, so yes. No chance of putting everything on my altar with 2 cats in the house. So no, cats and altars are possible. Cats always seem fascinated by altars. Lani, Amy has joined and loves watching you talk. Oh, hi, Amy. The Piskies are playing. Yeah, something's had all the feathers. I'm not sure why. Anyway, you will quite often be gifted feathers when you're out walking, and you don't have to be out in the woods or the countryside. I picked up this feather walking on a city street. So generally crows or pigeons or seagulls, because I'm near the sea, we do find seagull feathers quite often too. But they're still feathers and they're still magical. So I often pop it in the freezer once I've found one, because they can have nasties on them, just as a precaution really, but the cold temperature gets rid of any of the nasties. Keep them away from the frozen food, obviously, in your freezer, or you can wash them in, and I've got a note of this: 5 parts of warm water, 1 part of vinegar, 1 part witch hazel, leave them to soak for 24 hours, then dry them. But that's far too much effort for me, so I just pop them in the freezer. Feathers bring the magical property of change, focus, communication, concentration, and wishes. So it's probably why my feathers have disappeared, along with my focus and my concentration. But the feather will also carry the magical energies of the particular bird that it came from. They are an element of air as well, obviously. If you have something like a swan or a duck or a seagull, they carry the element of water as well with them. Christine, I use steam from the kettle to clean the feathers. Excellent. That's a brilliant, really quick and easy way. I like that, Christine. Thank you. I will try that next time. That's very straightforward. Chris's cat leaves the altar alone. You're very lucky, Chris. Oh, and Maria's, they seem to know. We have to be careful with feathers in the garden. We do get quite a few pigeons in the garden who drop their feathers, and Eric likes to eat the feathers. He likes to chase the pigeons, actually. None of the other birds, just the pigeons. So be careful, because animals do like to eat feathers, or our dog does anyway. But feathers are brilliant. You can make a fetish with them, which I also have but can't find. You know, something strange going on in this house. I have a hagstone and a feather and a crow's foot, and they're bound together to make a fetish, which is basically just a little magical package of things. But yeah, feathers really good for the element of air, and any kind of magical working for that. I would add them to your altar. The small feathers you can add to spell pouches as well. Very good for as well if you've got a lot of them, to bind them together, and they can be used to waft your incense as well, to do smudging. But yeah, whoever's got all my feathers, I'd quite like them back. I am lucky that I don't live too far away from the sea as well. So seashells are another thing that Mother Nature provides. I actually happen to have, these aren't from my local beach. These are actually bag of craft shells that I was gifted, but I didn't want to waste them, so I will use them in magic. So shells are obviously associated with water and all that comes with that, emotions mostly. They're also associated with the goddess Aphrodite, so they can be used in love spells. In the past, shells were used in some parts of the world for currency, so they're also very good for prosperity spells. Maria, ask your pendulum. Yes, I will do, Maria. It's been one of those weeks. But yes, I will. I'll ask my pendulum where my feathers are, and we'll see if we can find them. The shell, of course, is also a protective layer for the animal that's inside it. So it brings protection with it as well. They can be used in divination. You can make a fantastic set of divination tools with pebbles, crystals, and bones to cast in a reading. If you've seen Pirates of the Caribbean with Tiadama, she takes a handful of shells and crab claws and bones and throws them out like you would with runes. And particular shells, of course, have their own meaning. So each particular animal will have their own meaning. If you are buying shells, please do make sure they have been ethically sourced. And if you find them, make sure that the creature's not still living inside, obviously. Chris, good for putting offerings to the Fae in. Indeed, Chris, they are. I also I've got some abalone shells that I use to stand candles in, and also to put offerings in to deity. So, yeah. Good morning, Sylvie. Yeah, catch me later. I've got a few minutes left, Sylvie, but the replay will be up afterwards. We're talking wild witchcraft today, everything that Mother Nature provides for free. So shells are brilliant for all kinds of magical workings and uses. And leads me to stones or pebbles. So yeah, you all know what a pebble looks like. I'm lucky enough that the sea near us provides, if you see that, hagstones. So these are all hagstones, I think. Hagstone or holy stone is basically a stone with a hole in it. It's the water that makes the hole. These are from the sea. You can find them in some rivers as well. Chris has got one accidentally that still had a creature in it, and it got loose in my bed. Ew! Yes, please do check that shells don't have the creature still inside them when you take them home. So yeah, pebble's good. I mean, they're the element of earth. They couldn't be more earthy, really, than pebble. It's a huge amount of earth energy. And if you've got them from the river or the sea, they'll also have the element of water with them as well. And I think particularly as well, if it's from the beach, you'll also have the element of sun, and so you've got that fire element and the wind. So basically they have got all four elements in them, so they're incredibly useful. Hagstones in particular have got a huge amount of folklore attached to them. I have got some written down here. They were used to ward against curses, nightmares, evil spirits, and of course against witches. They could also be used to look through to see other worlds, realms, or to see the fairies. If you've seen the film Spiderwick, they use a hagstone to look through to see the fairy world. It does help as well, but if you look through the hole in a hagstone, you can see things in reality. So it helps look past any glamours or illusions. Stones were obviously used to keep away the evil hag spirit who'd bring nightmares. So they're quite often placed in bedrooms or on bedroom windowsills to keep the nightmare hag away. Sailors would tie holy stones to the bows of their boats to protect against malevolent witchcraft. Similarly, you'll often find them in old farm buildings. They'd have a holy stone or a pebble tied to the key for the building. This was again to prevent the witches that rode the hedgerows at night from hexing the farm, and to prevent the witches from hag riding the horses. The holy stone was also said to be able to cure diseases, either by wearing the stone as a pendant around your neck, or by rubbing the stone over the wound or the painful joint. I haven't tried that one. I'll give that one a try. You can wear it around your neck, obviously. It provides the wearer against the evil eye and brings protection. I mean, I'm assuming basically you don't want to use hagstones to protect you against witches, so they can be used for all sorts of protection and healing spell work. That was a complaint from the dog. They can be worn as amulets. They can be popped into medicine spell pouches or into witch bottles, or you can just pop them on your windowsills or hang them above your doorway for protection. They're also very good for fertility. So if you're looking to have baby ones, baby humans, not baby hagstones, hang them over your bed because they'll bring fertility. They're just brilliant. You can work spells with them as well. These ones are just a little bit small, but I've got a larger one with a hole in it, and I run my thumb around the stone in a clockwise direction as I make a wish or as I cast a spell, so they can bring magic to you from that point of view. But it doesn't have to be a hagstone to work that same sort of magic. Any kind of stone or pebble, absolutely brilliant. You can't always get hagstones, depends where your area is, but every stone has that element of earth with it. It brings a good punch of protection. If you've got worries or troubles, you can send them into your stone and then throw it away. You could just release anything into it, throw it into the river, bury it in the earth, throw it away, wherever. It'll take your troubles with it. Flat pebbles are really good for painting on. I've got several that have got spirit animal shapes or goddess or god images on them. They work very well. And if you've got a large flat stone, it works really well as an altar, particularly if you want to pop it in the garden. So absolutely brilliant. And it's just a pebble that you can pick up from anywhere. Beck watching Spiderwick right now. Oh, it's a fantastic film. I love it. Christine, put a hagstone around your partner's neck to stop them going off. Depends how big the hagstone is, I guess, isn't it? If it's so heavy, they won't be able to move. Karen, her grandson has nightmares. Yes, give him a hagstone to put on his windowsill. Tell him the little story about it and get him to hold it and charge it with his energy for protection against nightmares. And pop it on the windowsill. Things like that work really well with children. Maria would love to find one. Maria, remind me next time I meet you and I will bring you one. Chris, yeah, they are. I think it depends. You have to be by the sea or a river, and it depends what area you are as well. Sometimes you find them, and other times the beach has none. Beck uses them to ward off negative energies. Yep. Make spell pouches and put ribbons through them and leave them around my property boundaries. Brilliant for protection. Sue has a hagstone which must weigh about 4 pounds. No, you probably wouldn't want to wear that one around your neck. Chris has a large stone that's painted each side, one for the moon, the other side the sun. Brilliant idea, Chris. The flat stones like that are really good for painting images on. Beck found loads a few years back on Charmouth Beach. My husband works on boats, so pick them up and bring them home for me. I love Charmouth Beach. I've been to Charmouth Beach quite a lot, and I get all of my sea glass from Charmouth Beach. My cousin lives down that way, so yeah, a beautiful beach. Excellent. So, any questions? I think I've covered everything. I did have some boar teeth here as well. My main spirit animal is a boar, and I was gifted these boar teeth. And they have so much wild boar energy in them. They're brilliant. But again, they were ethically sourced. So just be mindful of that. I did find when I was in the garden I don't know if you can see it. It's a holly leaf, but it's started to decay, and it's got like a skeleton. And that, to me, just sums up the beauty and the magic of nature. It's done its thing on the holly bush, it's dropped, and now it's just becoming a skeleton. So that'll be really interesting to work magic with. So it's about keeping your eyes open and seeing what nature can offer you. Everything today, has all be free, even the flowers in my garden. So I've got some pelargoniums here, I've got an echinacea, I've got a piece of pine, and I've got some sea holly. All of those have their own magical properties. Some of them aren't traditional ones, like the sea holly, but it's sea holly, so it's got the power of the sea and all that brings, dealing with emotions and cleansing and purifying. It's holly, so it's quite spiky, so it's got protection as well. Echinacea, obviously, for healing and immune system. And pine, really good for cleansing and purifying. Just normal flowers that you find in a lot of gardens. Each one of them has magical properties. You can use the petals, you can dry them, you can use the leaves. Just what Mother Nature provides, really. And it's all out there, from weeds to feathers to pieces of grass, and it's all there for you to use in your magic. So Alani, I've started drying the petals of my dahlia to use in my magic workings as they've fallen off the flower. Absolutely perfect. That's a brilliant way, because the flower's done its thing. The bees have taken what they need, but the petals have dropped. So it's no longer used. So dry them and use them for magic. Absolutely brilliant. That's what it's all about, is really using the stuff that Mother Nature provides for us. So that's about it for today. Please join us over on the Kitchen Witch Facebook group on Sunday. We're having a Waffling Witches, myself and the Kitchen Witch posse, and we're talking about Book of Shadows. That's Sunday, 26th of July, 10 a.m. UK time, over on the Kitchen Witch Facebook group. And every Wednesday for the foreseeable future, over on the Moon Books Facebook page, who are my publisher, they've got weekly chats, 7 o'clock UK time, different authors each week. There's 3 that have been on already. You can watch the replays over on their Facebook page, and there's more coming up every single Wednesday. So do take a look. That's Moonbook's Facebook page, and that's every Wednesday at 7 p.m. UK time. But obviously the replays are there to watch if you missed them. So that's it for coming up. Kay, I've already forgot which card we're working with this week. I didn't pull one, Kay. Don't worry, you're not going mad. I just thought, because I'd worked so much with candles and crystals and things that you have to buy, this week is all about working with what Mother Nature provided. So it's all wild witchcraft this week. Chris presses some in her herbal grimoire. Fantastic. Pressed flowers work really, really well for putting in your Book of Shadows, but you can also put pressed flowers and pressed leaves onto candles as well to add the magic into it. Tess watched you live on your Facebook page. Yeah, that's where we are now. We're on my Facebook page now. You're very welcome, Sue. You're very welcome, Kelly. Deirdre, I did a healing ritual on Monday evening. The next day I found a small white feather on my altar. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Gifts from Mother Nature, the divine spirit. It's just a confirmation that you're doing the right thing. You're very welcome, Sheila. Leslie, favourite flower is freesia. What magic are they good for? It's not one of the general ones, freesia, Leslie. I think that one is really how you would want to work with it. What does the flower mean for you? Look at the colour, look at how it grows, look at where it grows. Freesias, of course, are usually very highly scented. So I think there's a big connection there to the element of air and to your sense of smell. I'll do some research for you, Leslie, but see what it means to you. Meditate or connect with the energy of the flower and see what it tells you. Lani's just ordered my flower magic oracle set. Thank you, my lovely. I hope you enjoy it. You're very welcome, Kerry. Christine, you're very welcome too. Yeah, this is a big part of how I work magic. I do love my candle magic, but I like working with the items that Mother Nature provides. Beck got them last week. They're fab. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kay, you're very welcome. Debbie, you too. Anna, you as well, Jess, and Maria. Thank you, everybody. You are all fantastic. I will be back here next week. If you want me to talk about anything in particular, do let me know. And any questions in the meantime, message me or pop them on the Kitchen Witch Facebook group, and we will do our very best to help you. So have a lovely weekend, everyone. You're very welcome, Karen. You're very welcome, Lani. Take care, everyone.